Have you ever felt like you're moving but going nowhere? Like you're climbing but there's no mountaintop in sight? Waking up every day, checking off tasks, showing up, clocking in, but deep down something feels off, empty. You're not lazy, you're not broken, and no, you're not a failure. The truth is, you may not be lost at all, because there comes a moment in every person's life when the path they've been walking starts to feel too small for the size of the dream growing inside them. You may simply be misaligned. A moment where life whispers, "This isn't it." Even if everyone around you is applauding your progress, you've been told that work is a job, that it's something you do to earn money and survive. It's a calling. And that moment is not a curse. What if work is not what you do to pay your bills? But what if that's the biggest lie you've ever believed? But what you do to fulfill your soul? Listen closely. This is a wake-up call to realign your life with purpose, power, and clarity. This isn't another rah-rah motivational speech telling you to hustle harder. You don't need more motivation. You need a new lens, a new way of seeing the work in front of you. You'll realize you've been standing at the edge of something extraordinary, and all you needed was the courage to step into it. By the end of this message, you will not only understand why you felt lost, so if you're ready, but to reclaim the fire that work was always meant to ignite within you. Not just to change your job, not just to find direction, because this will change how you see everything. Then, keep listening. Too many people spend their lives chasing goals that were never theirs to begin with. They climb ladders only to realize they were leaning against the wrong wall. They follow the rules, do what they're told, pursue what's practical, and silence the voice inside that's been calling them to something greater. And when the noise of the world fades, they hear that voice louder than ever. That voice isn't confusion. That voice is clarity in disguise. It's telling you this isn't the life you were meant to settle for. Most people interpret that sensation as a breakdown. They think they're falling apart. They question their choices, their direction, their worth. But what they don't see is that every breakdown is actually a breakthrough in disguise. You're not being punished, you're being realigned. You're not at the end, you're being redirected toward the beginning of something far more meaningful. You're not lost. It only feels that way because the path you're on no longer fits the person you're becoming. What you're experiencing isn't confusion, it's awakening. That feeling of restlessness, that quiet discontent, gnawing at your soul, it's not a sign of failure. It's a signal. It's life tapping you on the shoulder and whispering, there's more than this. When you feel lost, don't ask, what's wrong with me? Ask, what is life trying to show me? Because the feeling of being lost often means you're being rerouted toward your true destination. Just like a GPS recalculates when you miss a turn, life is nudging you, redirecting you toward the path you were meant to walk. It's not the absence of direction. It's the presence of a higher direction, one that your current logic may not yet understand, but your heart has already sensed. We're conditioned from a young age to define ourselves by titles, jobs, and salaries. We're taught to treat work like a burden, like a duty we must endure to survive. So we go through the motions, dragging our feet into places that drain our energy and dull our spirit. And somewhere along the way, we start to believe that this is all there is, that work is meant to be tiring, that purpose is a luxury, that fulfillment is reserved for a lucky few. But the truth is, work was never supposed to be a cage. It was meant to be a mirror, reflecting who you are and who you're becoming. If you feel lost, it's because the work you're doing is no longer in alignment with the person you're growing into. The discomfort you feel is evidence of growth. You're not the same person you were when you started. Your soul is evolving. Your vision is expanding. Your spirit is refusing to shrink itself to fit into a box it's already outgrown. The answers won't come all at once, and they won't come from the outside. They come in whispers, in quiet moments of truth, in sudden sparks of inspiration that seem to come from nowhere. But if you pay attention, they begin to form a path. Not a clear roadmap, but a direction, a sense, a knowing. And that's all you need to start. Every person who ever discovered their purpose had to go through the wilderness of uncertainty. They had to lose what was familiar to find what was real. They had to shed the layers of who they were told to be in order to discover who they truly are. Feeling lost is not a setback. It's a sacred space. It's a pause before the pivot. It's the tension before the transformation. And in that space, you are invited to listen deeply, to reflect honestly, and to choose courageously. This is the time to turn inward, to ask yourself the questions you've been too busy to ask. What do I truly value? What kind of work would make me feel alive again? What gifts have I buried to fit into the world's expectations? Who am I when the noise stops and I'm left with just me? You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step in the direction that feels aligned with your inner truth. That small, quiet nudge that tells you, go there, try that, explore this. Don't dismiss it. That's your internal compass pointing you home. You are not behind. You are not off track. You are in transition, and transition is sacred. It's where the old self dies and the new self is born. It's where clarity is forged. It's where the seeds of your real work are planted. Sometimes life will take everything from you just to show you what you never needed. It will strip away the illusions, the false identities, the roles you were playing just to survive. Not to hurt you, but to free you. Because only when you are emptied of what no longer serves you can you be filled with what truly matters. You're not lost. You're being called. And that calling is not always loud. It doesn't come with fireworks or applause. It comes with a quiet invitation to begin again, to build something that reflects your truth, to do the work that sets your soul on fire. So honor this space. Don't rush to escape it. Don't numb it. Don't run from it. Sit with it, listen to it, let it teach you. Because the very thing that feels like a crisis may turn out to be the most important turning point of your life. And when you say yes to that invitation, even if you don't know where it's leading, life begins to unfold in ways you never imagined. Because once you begin walking toward your real work, the path starts to reveal itself. And in that moment, you realize you were never lost. You were just waiting to remember who you really are. You see, work is not just the physical act of getting things done. Work is energy, and that energy is always creating something. Every task you perform, every project you complete, and every effort you make has an impact not just on your immediate surroundings, but on the larger fabric of the world. Every time you engage in work, you are participating in the creation of something bigger than yourself. You are contributing to the flow of life and giving form to the ideas and visions you hold in your mind. Work, when done with intention and purpose, is a direct manifestation of your thoughts and beliefs. When most people think about work, they think of labor, obligation, and exhaustion. They think of long hours, tough bosses, and unrelenting demands. They view work as something external, something disconnected from their true selves. But the truth is, work is never separate from who you are. It is a direct reflection of your inner world. Your thoughts, your mindset, and your desires all shape the work you do. And the work you do, in turn, shapes the reality you experience. Work is often seen as a necessary evil, a means to an end, a way to pay the bills and survive. It's something we must endure to exist in the world. But what if work is not just something you do to fill the hours of your day, but a powerful force through which you shape your reality? What if the very act of working, the tasks you take on, and the effort you put into your work can be the channel through which you transform your life and the lives of those around you? If you believe that work is simply a way to earn a paycheck or to get through the day, then that is exactly what your work will reflect. Your work will be uninspired, disconnected, and ultimately unfulfilling. But if you change your perspective and see work as a tool for creation, a way to bring your inner visions to life, then everything shifts. Work becomes an opportunity, not a burden. It becomes a vehicle for transformation, both for you and for the world around you. It becomes the channel through which you give shape to your dream. The reality is, everything in this world is created through work. Whether it's the buildings we live in, the technology we use, the businesses we run, or the art we admire, it all comes from someone's work. Work is the medium through which we translate ideas into tangible things. It's how we make the invisible visible. Without work, nothing happens. Without work, we have no progress, no innovation, and no evolution. Work has the power to change your life because it is the active ingredient in the process of creation. What you do with your time and energy, how you engage with the work in front of you, determines the direction your life takes. Every decision you make, every action you take, builds the foundation for the future you're going to experience. The thoughts you think lead to the actions you take, and the actions you take lead to the outcomes you achieve. This is why it's so crucial to shift your mindset about work. You must begin to see work not as a series of isolated tasks, but as an ongoing process of creation. The key is to bring intention to your work. Intentional work is not just about checking off boxes or fulfilling duties. It's about infusing your tasks with meaning. When you approach work with intention, you engage fully with the process, and you start to see the connections between your efforts and the results they produce. You begin to understand that every action, no matter how small it may seem, has a ripple effect. You see the interconnection between what you do today and the opportunities it creates tomorrow. When you approach work with this mindset, something remarkable happens. You stop seeing work as a chore and start seeing it as a privilege. You begin to see each task as an opportunity to contribute something valuable to the world, to make your mark, and to align yourself with your true purpose. You start to take ownership of your work because you realize that every piece of work you do is part of a greater whole. You are not just performing tasks, you are creating reality. You are molding the future with your actions. And this is where true fulfillment comes in. When your work aligns with your purpose, it no longer feels like something you have to do. It becomes something you want to do. It becomes the way you express yourself, the way you create value in the world, and the way you leave your legacy. This shift in perspective is what separates ordinary work from extraordinary work. Extraordinary work is work that is done with purpose, with passion, and with the knowledge that what you are doing matters. Moreover, work has a powerful ability to expand your consciousness. When you engage in your work with purpose, it forces you to grow. It challenges you to develop new skills, to think in new ways, and to find solutions to problems you might not have considered before. Work forces you to evolve, and in doing so, it reveals new levels of your potential. It becomes a tool for self-improvement, for mastering your craft, and for deepening your understanding of who you are and what you're capable of. If you truly understand this, you will never view work the same way again. You will stop dreading the tasks ahead of you and start seeing them as opportunities to create something meaningful. The challenges you face in your work will no longer be obstacles. They will be stepping stones, tests of your ability to create and transform. And when you begin to see work this way, you will find that the work itself becomes easier. It flows. The effort required to complete it becomes a source of energy rather than a drain. If you begin to view work not as labor, but as the channel through which you shape reality, you will find that you are no longer just moving through life, waiting for things to happen. You will be actively participating in the creation of your own destiny. You will no longer be a passive observer, but a creator, an architect of your future. The work you do will become your signature, your contribution to the world, and your way of leaving a lasting impact. We live in a world that places a heavy emphasis on motivation. Everywhere you turn, you hear about the importance of feeling inspired, being motivated, or waiting for the perfect moment to get started. Motivation is often treated like the key to unlocking success, a magic elixir that turns work from a burden into something exciting. People talk about it as though it's the missing link between where they are and where they want to be. But here's the harsh truth. Motivation is a trap. The real prison is not in the work itself, but in the belief that you need motivation to get it done. When you approach work with this mindset, you not only create a life of purpose and fulfillment for yourself, but you also become a force for positive change in the world around you. Because work is not just a personal endeavor, it is a communal one. The work you do touches the lives of others, directly or indirectly, and has the power to change the world, one action at a time. The more you pour into your work, the more you create a ripple effect that can inspire and elevate others to do the same. This is the power of work. It is not just labor. It is the vehicle through which you shape reality. It is the manifestation of your vision, your desires, and your purpose. And when you understand that work is not a task to endure, but a channel to create, your entire life changes. The truth is, motivation is not the key to productivity or success. Consistency is. Consistency is what separates those who achieve their goals from those who fall short. It's the ability to do the work, not because you feel like it, but because you have made a decision to keep going regardless of how you feel in the moment. Consistency is about showing up even when you're not in the mood. It's about doing the work because you know that every action you take is one step closer to where you want to be. The moment we start believing that motivation is required to get to work, we surrender our power to an external force. We wait for something to happen, for a spark of inspiration, for the feeling to be just right before we begin. And when that spark doesn't come, when the inspiration fades or the energy isn't there, we stall. We sit around trapped by the belief that unless we feel motivated, we cannot accomplish. We put our dreams on hold. We postpone our goals, and we let opportunities slip by, all because we don't feel like it. This belief that motivation is required is the real prison. It chains us to an unpredictable and unreliable source of energy, our emotions. Motivation is an emotion, and like all emotions, it is fleeting and unreliable. It comes and goes as it pleases, often in ways we cannot control. One day you might feel motivated to work, but the next you might feel drained, uninspired, or distracted. If you're waiting for that moment of motivation to hit before you take action, you're setting yourself up for frustration and stagnation. When we rely on motivation to get us through, we treat work like a fleeting burst of energy that comes and goes. But the reality is that the most successful people are not the ones who wait around for motivation to strike. They are the ones who commit to their work regardless of whether they feel motivated. They understand that progress is made not in grand moments of inspiration, but in the small, everyday actions that accumulate over time. The real power comes from showing up day after day, even when the excitement has faded, even when the enthusiasm has dissipated. This is where discipline comes into play. Discipline is the antidote to the prison of motivation. Discipline is not about waiting for the right feeling to appear. It's about making the decision to do the work, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is the muscle you build by pushing yourself to take action, not when you're inspired, but when you least want to. It's the difference between waiting for motivation to come to you and actively choosing to create the conditions that make work possible, regardless of your emotional state. This shift from relying on motivation to relying on discipline is what unlocks your true potential. When you let go of the belief that you need to feel motivated to work, you free yourself from a constant cycle of highs and lows. You stop being a slave to your emotions and start becoming the master of your actions. You realize that work doesn't need to be easy or enjoyable to be valuable. Work is valuable because it gets you closer to your goal. And it doesn't matter how you feel. If you want something bad enough, you'll do what needs to be done, no matter the emotional state you're in. This is a mindset that successful people cultivate. They don't waste time looking for motivation or waiting for the perfect moment to start. They get to work regardless of how they feel. They understand that every day is a chance to make progress, even if that progress is small. The consistency of their effort builds momentum, and over time, that momentum propels them to greater heights. They know that results are not about grand gestures, but about the accumulation of small, consistent actions. And it's not just successful people who understand this. It's anyone who has ever achieved anything meaningful. People who have overcome challenges, people who have built businesses, people who have created art, people who have changed the world. They all share one thing in common. They didn't wait for motivation to show up. They worked because they knew that waiting for motivation is a surefire way to get stuck. You see, the moment you stop waiting for motivation and start relying on discipline, you stop giving power to the feeling of not wanting to. You stop letting your emotions dictate whether or not you get to work. You start working because it's who you are. You don't need to be in the mood. You don't need to feel inspired. You just need to make the decision to do the work and then do it. That's how you build a habit. That's how you create momentum. That's how you succeed. The real freedom comes when you stop needing motivation to work and realize that you have everything you need to get started right now. You have the ability to take action regardless of how you feel. You have the power to choose discipline over the fleeting nature of motivation. And once you realize this, you break free from the prison of waiting. You stop being at the mercy of your emotions and start taking control of your action. You stop seeing work as something that happens only when you feel motivated and start seeing it as something you do because it matters. In the end, the key to success is not in waiting for motivation, but in showing up, doing the work, and creating the results, regardless of how you feel. The real prison is not in the work itself, but in the belief that you need motivation to do it. Once you release that belief, you unlock the power of discipline, and that is what will take you to places that motivation alone can never reach. Many people spend the majority of their lives working hard at their jobs, dedicating hours upon hours to their tasks, climbing the corporate ladder, and meeting the expectations placed upon them. They pour their energy into their work, often sacrificing personal time, relationships, and even their health. But here's a truth that many overlook. While it's important to excel at your job, it's even more important to work on yourself. The greatest investment you can make is not in your career, but in your own personal development. When you commit to working on yourself more than you work on your job, everything else in your life starts to improve. The first step in understanding this truth is recognizing that your job is not your life. Your job is a part of your life, but it doesn't define you. Your value, your potential, and your future are not solely tied to the work you do for an employer. The true measure of your success isn't just how much money you make, how many promotions you achieve, or how many accolades you collect from your job. It's about how much you grow as a person, how much you expand your capacity, and how much you become aligned with your deeper purpose. When you focus on your personal growth, you begin to shift your perspective. You realize that the work you do on yourself directly impacts the work you do in the world. By becoming a better version of yourself, you become more effective in every aspect of your life, including your job. It's not about abandoning your career or neglecting your professional responsibilities. It's about prioritizing your own growth so that you can bring your best self to your job, your relationships, and your personal life. Working on yourself means investing time in your mind, body, and spirit. It means taking care of your physical health, developing your mental resilience, and nurturing your emotional intelligence. It means building the habits, mindsets, and skills that will allow you to thrive in any environment. When you take the time to improve yourself, you become more adaptable, more resourceful, and more capable of handling challenges. You begin to operate from a place of strength rather than from a place of limitation. This personal development doesn't just make you more effective at work. It also makes you a better human being. It helps you cultivate greater empathy, compassion, and understanding. It allows you to build stronger relationships, both personally and professionally. It strengthens your ability to communicate, to lead, and to inspire others. As you work on yourself, you become more aware of your strengths and weaknesses, and you learn how to leverage them to create more meaningful and fulfilling experiences in all areas of your life. But the problem is that many people get caught up in the daily grind of work and forget to take time for themselves. They fall into the trap of thinking that success at work will bring them happiness, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose. They believe that working harder, longer, and more tirelessly will eventually lead to the success they desire. But what they fail to realize is that working on your job without working on yourself first leads to burnout, dissatisfaction, and an endless cycle of striving without achieving lasting fulfillment. To truly succeed, you must invest in yourself. You must make time for personal development. This means taking the time to read books, to learn new skills, to engage in activities that stimulate your mind and body. It means challenging yourself to step outside of your comfort zone and pursue things that will make you grow as a person. Whether it's learning a new language, starting a new hobby, or practicing mindfulness, every effort you make to improve yourself pays off in ways you can't even predict. The more you invest in your personal growth, the more you realize that the foundation of success is internal, not external. Your job can only provide so much in terms of financial reward, recognition, and advancement. But the work you do on yourself provides endless returns. It creates a wellspring of confidence, resilience, and inner peace that no external achievement can match. When you focus on your personal development, you build a life that is rich with meaning and purpose, independent of the limitations of your job. In addition, working on yourself empowers you to make better decisions. When you prioritize your personal growth, you begin to understand who you are and what you truly want. This clarity helps you make choices that are aligned with your values, rather than being driven solely by external pressure. You stop chasing promotions or accolades for the sake of validation and start pursuing opportunities that bring you closer to your true purpose. The more you work on yourself, the more you realize that your happiness and success are not dependent on your job title or your salary. They're a result of your growth as a person. The most successful individuals understand that the key to sustained achievement is not in the work itself, but in their continuous growth. They know that a strong personal foundation is what allows them to navigate the challenges of their job, to lead with integrity, and to create meaningful impact. They understand that personal growth is a lifelong journey, and they never stop investing in themselves. It's not about finding the perfect job or the perfect career. It's about becoming the person who can succeed in any environment. Moreover, when you focus on working on yourself, you naturally become more valuable in your professional life. You become a better leader, a better colleague, and a better problem solver. Your ability to communicate effectively, to think critically, and to manage stress improves. You develop a mindset of growth and possibility, which allows you to overcome obstacles with greater ease. You become someone who adds value to any team, any project, and any organization. When you focus on personal development, you enhance your skills, your knowledge, and your mindset, all of which directly impact your ability to excel at your job. By working on yourself more than you work on your job, you become the architect of your future. You stop letting external circumstances dictate your life, and you take control of your own destiny. You become more resilient, more capable, and more confident in your ability to create the life you want. Your personal growth becomes the foundation for everything else in your life, including your career. And when you invest in yourself first, you unlock a power within you that can transform not just your job, but every area of your life. In a society that places immense value on money and material success, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that wealth is defined by the size of your paycheck or the possessions you acquire. We are constantly bombarded with messages that suggest the more money you have, the more successful you are. Financial security is often seen as the ultimate goal. the benchmark for success, and the ticket to a fulfilling life. But true wealth is not found in a paycheck. It is found in purposeful work. Purposeful work is work that goes beyond just earning a living. It is work that is aligned with your values, your passions, and your deepest aspiration. It's work that brings meaning to your life and connects you to something larger than yourself. When you engage in purposeful work, you tap into a source of fulfillment that money alone cannot provide. It is the work that makes you feel alive, that challenges you, and that helps you grow as a person. It is the kind of work that gives you a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment, and a sense of contribution to the world. The world often tells us that we should work for the paycheck, that we should focus on the salary, the benefits, and the perks. We are encouraged to choose careers based on the financial rewards they offer, rather than the intrinsic value of the work itself. The result is a world full of people who are financially well off, but spiritually empty. They may have the houses, the cars, the vacations, and the status symbols, but they feel unfulfilled, disconnected, and unsatisfied. They chase after money and success, thinking that once they have enough, they will find happiness. But the truth is that no amount of money can fill the void created by a lack of purpose. When you focus on purposeful work, you shift your attention from what you're getting to what you're giving. The value of your work isn't measured by the paycheck you receive, but by the impact it has on others and the world around you. Purposeful work is driven by the desire to contribute, to make a difference, and to create value in ways that go beyond financial gain. It is work that aligns with your passions and talents, and that allows you to use your skills to serve others and solve problems. Whether you are teaching, creating, leading, or helping, purposeful work allows you to leave a legacy that extends far beyond your bank account. One of the greatest benefits of purposeful work is that it gives you a sense of direction and clarity. When you know that the work you're doing matters, it becomes easier to stay focused and motivated, even during difficult times. You are no longer just going through the motions or working to meet the demands of others. Instead, you are working toward a greater goal, something that resonates deeply with who you are and what you want to achieve in life. This sense of purpose provides a roadmap for your life and gives you the energy to keep pushing forward no matter what obstacles you face. In contrast, when your work is driven solely by the need for a paycheck, it becomes easy to lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing. Work can start to feel like a grind, a series of tasks you must complete to earn your next paycheck. You can become disengaged, disconnected, and uninspired simply going through the motions in order to meet deadlines and collect a paycheck. This kind of work lacks meaning, and as a result, it drains you rather than energizes you. It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you don't find meaning in your work, you will eventually feel the emptiness of chasing after wealth without purpose. True wealth is the sense of fulfillment you get from doing work that is meaningful to you. It is the satisfaction of knowing that your efforts are contributing to something greater than yourself. It is the joy that comes from using your talents to solve problems and create value in the world. True wealth is not just about accumulating material possessions. It is about accumulating experiences, relationships, and personal growth through the work you do. Purposeful work also allows you to be more resilient in the face of challenges. When you are driven by a sense of purpose, setbacks and difficulties become opportunities for growth rather than reasons to quit. You are more likely to persevere because you believe in the work you are doing and understand the larger purpose behind it. Even when the rewards are not immediately visible, you keep going because the journey itself is fulfilling. This resilience is what separates those who are truly filthy from those who are simply financially rich. It's not about how much money you have. It's about your ability to keep going and making progress even when things are tough. Moreover, when you focus on purposeful work, you become more likely to attract opportunities that align with your values. When you are clear on your purpose, it becomes easier to spot opportunities that allow you to expand and grow. You begin to surround yourself with people who share your vision, who support your goals, and who understand the value of the work you're doing. This network of like-minded individuals can help you advance your career in ways that a paycheck never could. Purposeful work also brings you a deeper sense of connection. When your work is aligned with your values, you begin to form deeper connections with others, both in your personal life and in your professional life. Your work becomes a reflection of who you are, and it allows you to engage with others in a meaningful way. You become more attuned to the needs of the people around you, and you are better equipped to offer help, support, and understanding. This sense of connection is a crucial part of what makes work truly fulfilling. Finally, the pursuit of wealth through money alone can create a cycle of never-ending desire. No matter how much money you make, it will never be enough if your primary motivation is material gain. You will constantly be chasing after the next paycheck, the next raise, the next promotion, without ever truly feeling content. But when you focus on purposeful work, you find that the wealth you are seeking is already within you. You find satisfaction not in the accumulation of money, but in the fulfillment that comes from knowing that your work is meaningful, impactful, and aligned with your purpose. True wealth is found in the work that fulfills you, that challenges you, and that connects you to something greater than yourself. It's not about how much money you make, but about the impact you have, the relationships you build, and the growth you experience along the way. When you choose purposeful work, you choose a path that leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment, one that no paycheck could ever provide. True wealth, at its core, is not found in the things we accumulate or the numbers on a paycheck. It lies in the fulfillment, the growth, and the impact we create through purposeful work. When we align our efforts with our values, when we focus on work that resonates with our deeper purpose, we tap into a level of richness that money alone can never offer. Work becomes more than just a means to an end. It becomes a powerful channel for shaping the life we truly desire. As you embrace purposeful work, you'll find that wealth is not just about what you earn, but about what you give, how you grow, and the legacy you leave behind. This is where true prosperity lies, within your purpose.